Since I upgraded my vehicle, I was looking to upgrade dashcam as well, but I didn't want to just stick it to the windshield with wires hanging everywhere. So in this video, I'll be designing a custom OEM-style housing for a new dashcam I picked. Something that looks clean, integrates with the factory trim, and keeps everything completely hidden. The one I had was basically unchanged since 2014. I knew I wanted something that could record in 4K resolution and use the Sony Starvis 2 sensor. I started looking into the more well-known brands like Blackview, but their Starvis 2 equipped models start at around $400. Then I looked at Viofo, another reputable brand. They offer a model with the Starvis 2 sensor starting at just $199, which felt much more reasonable. But I wasn't a fan of the way most of these cameras looked. I wanted something a bit more subtle, and more importantly, I wanted to integrate it into the car using a custom housing that mounts onto the factory plastic, similar to how FitCam does it. After browsing around, I found a really promising option, the Vantrue Element E1 Pro. It's got the Sony Starvis 2 chip, just like I wanted, and it's significantly smaller than almost anything else on the market. Even with its compact size, it still packs a rear display, 5 GHz Wi-Fi, GPS, and all the essential features, and it only costs $150. Now, I do like how FitCam cameras look when they're mounted, very clean and OEM-like, but I wasn't thrilled about their video quality. So my plan was to take the best of both worlds, the performance of the E1 Pro combined with a custom OEM-style housing that blends seamlessly with the car's interior. I also wanted to draw inspiration from FitCam's power supply method, specifically powering the dashcam directly from the rearview mirror connection, avoiding routing any wires around the interior. This video mainly focuses on designing and building the housing itself, and I'll leave the detailed camera setup and performance review for a separate video. Let's just unbox it first. The packaging looks sleek and professional. There's a small amount of literature included, which is expected. Tiny microfiber towel and electrostatic stickers included. I think these stickers are a little bit funny, and I can't imagine anyone actually sticking these on their car. Digging into the box, here's what we've got. Plastic pry tool, a 12V car adapter with a USB-C end that I won't need for this install, but might be useful for future projects. A basic windshield mount, which I won't be using either because I don't want dashcams sticking to glass, even by using the electrostatic stickers. Cable clips that I also won't be using. A standard USB cable, again not useful for me since I need a 90-degree connector. And this is a polarizer filter. Very cool that it comes with the camera. And finally, the E1 Pro camera itself. This thing is tiny, much smaller than most dashcams I found. Here's how it looks with the included mount attached, though again, I won't be using that. Let me boot it up real quick, but we'll go through all the setup options in the review video. One thing I'll point out now though, this camera gets hot. Just letting it sit and record for a few minutes, it reached almost 60 degrees Celsius, which is around 140 Fahrenheit, which is a bit concerning, especially when it's mounted inside a hot car in the summer. To keep everything clean and completely wireless looking, I needed a way to draw power without routing long cables. Thankfully, I found this rearview mirror adapter kit on Amazon. It's super simple. It draws power from the factory mirror plug and converts it to USB. Inside the kit, you get 2 USB power supplies, and yes, the right angle USB-C cable I needed. The key piece is this little adapter. It plugs into the existing mirror connector, and then you plug the car's harness back into it, basically like a pass-through. Super straightforward. You can also use the included tester to make sure the power is flowing. Kit also includes a few extra 90-degree USB cables, micro USB and mini USB, so this kit could be useful for other car projects too. And this is the part that clips to the windshield around the rearview mirror where I want to mount the dash cam. It's pretty easy to remove as it's only clipped on. Just remove the middle piece with the prying tool and then unclip the big plastic part in 4 places. You can see where the clips are on the back of the part. This part would be a total pain to reverse engineer into 3D model, at least for me and my modeling skills. I might eventually redesign and 3D print this whole trim piece. It fits on a 256mm build plate, but that'll be for another time. For now, I'm going to mount the dash cam here and create a seamless custom housing that clips in just like OEM. So, to get precise measurements for the housing, I used this refurbished 3D scanner that I got on eBay for great price. I might do a full unboxing video later. For the best results, I used the laser scanning mode along with some reflective markers. Let's get to scanning. This was my first time using a laser scanner and I was genuinely blown away. This thing is truly amazing. That said, setting it up was an absolute nightmare. But once it's running, it delivers insanely accurate results. The level of detail it captures is just incredible. Check out the finished scan. I also scanned the dashcam itself so I could make an exact digital copy. I wanted to be as precise as possible because my plan was to just use Boolean function to cut the camera shape out of the housing rather than just building a shape around it manually. With the camera model complete, it was time to position it properly inside the design. Here's where I made a huge mistake. I didn't plan the angle carefully. I just kind of eyeballed it based on how the plastic part sat on my desk, which turned out to be a bad idea. The housing itself came together quickly. I just needed to add the mounting points. After a few redesigns, it finally locked into place using the original plastic ridges and contours. There was perfect clearance all around the camera too. I made sure to add an opening on the side to access the SD card and power button. Since the camera runs hot, I also added a vent at the bottom for airflow. And again, if I wanted, I could print the whole thing on the 256 plate, but let's not do that yet. With the design nearly complete, I split the model to do a test fit, and it fit like a glove. The camera sat securely and didn't wobble at all. Because the camera slides in from the top, it of course leaves a small gap, so I had to make a filler piece to clean up the look. Wow, nice. It fit and held great. If you imagine it in black color, it might look almost like a part that came with the car. Next was the time to guide the power cable through, which required some drilling. At this point, the cable was through and everything looked perfect until I mounted it in the truck. First, I disconnected the rear mirror power connector and connected the splitter. Then I hooked up the voltage tester. It was showing around 13 volts, but unfortunately the iPhone camera was out of sync with its frame rate. Then connected the USB connector instead of the tester. You can also see the USB has power when it lights up the little blue LED inside. With USB connected, I just popped the part into place. And that's when I realized the camera angle was completely off. I had based the orientation on the plastic part lying flat, not on how it actually mounts in the car. So yeah, that was my bad. It was also misaligned horizontally, which made things look slightly tilted. For round 2, I took a photo of the mounted plastic part and tried to shoot it as square as possible. Using that photo, I could figure out exactly how far down the camera needed to point. I imported the image into Onshape and used it as a visual reference. Rather than trying to fix the old model, I just started fresh. This time I made it slightly smaller and cleaner overall. And I gave myself a new rule: design everything first, then use Boolean. The inside housing structure was nearly identical, so it didn't take long to recreate. Once again, the camera fit perfectly and the snapped right into it. It wasn't sitting flush in the back, and I realized that was because the front clip was angled slightly wrong. So I redesigned that and also created a front cover. Originally, I used a sliding type for the front, but that felt too complex and hard to print. This time, I switched to a snap-in panel that secures from the back and looks much cleaner. Now the clips align perfectly and the part looks way more polished. Definitely prefer this version over the first attempt. To handle heat, I printed it in polycarbonate filament, which can hopefully withstand our summer temperatures. If I ever revise this project, I'll reprint it in carbon fiber infused filament, which has a nice matte finish that looks closer to OEM parts. Polycarbonate was the only one I had at home at the moment of making it, so I just went with it. The part looked even better in black, even if it's glossier than I'd like. I pre-installed the polarizer filter before the final assembly since it might be harder to add later. Even though the housing held firmly with just clips, I added double-sided tape for extra security. I designed a little part that follows the contour of the original plastic and provides a flat surface for the tape. Color match wasn't perfect. Mine is slightly blacker and shinier than OEM. But I don't think you'd notice unless you really looked for it. Reinstalling everything onto the windshield was actually easier than taking it off. There's plenty of room underneath the OEM piece to tuck the wiring and USB connector neatly out of sight. With the camera in place, here's some sample footage it took when driving. I must say it looks great. The angle is perfect now. It captures everything in front of the truck. The wide-angle lens hits the sweet spot. I'm also glad it doesn't show the dashboard at all, so maybe I actually won't need the polarizer. I'll be driving with this setup for a while and we'll be back soon with a full performance and image quality review of the Vantrue Dashcam. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.